I'm Lissa.
And I'm Lauren, and this is the Favorite Daughters Podcast.
Sorry, we're trash.
Hi guys, just a little disclaimer before we start the episode that we tried out a new microphone this week. We don't think we are in love with it, and we're going to go back to using the one I'm currently recording on now next week. Now here's the episode.
She's laughing at me because I'm hesitating to hit the record button. You gotta understand, there's a certain level of anxiety that you have to get over before you press the record button. It's just a thing, it happens. Anyway, welcome back everyone. This is another episode of the Favorite Daughters Podcast. Just so everyone knows, we're now live on Spotify and we are pending on Apple Podcasts. Just takes a couple weeks for them to approve that. So if you want to listen, go on listen on Spotify, share it with friends, share it with your family, and write into us if you have anything you want us to read or stories or whatever the heck you want. I don't even care. Just say hi. favoritedaughterspodcast@gmail.com.
You can also vent to us if you...
I thought you were going to say Venmo us.
Yeah, I mean, that too. But, like, if you have, like, a Karen issue that you need to complain about or a coworker or something, we love to hear that shit. We love to hear it.
You can also Venmo us.
You can also Venmo us.
If you really want to. Anyway, what you got today, Lissa?
I think we need to start up a Venmo for the podcast.
It's not a bad idea.
So, have you heard of Squishmellows?
Of course.
Your little squishy pug that you have is a Squishmallow.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Where is that?
I don't know. No?
I don't know. I want it. Where is it?
You're going to have to find that later.
That's going to make me sad. Now I want it. Anyway.
So apparently it's a Squishmallow. And
Yes.
they come in all different sizes. That's what my big baby Grogu is.
Yeah.
It's a big Squishmallow. So I got one the other day at Five Below, and it's a little cactus, and it's the cutest little thing in the world. But I guess because I Googled it on my phone to
Now
see
you're
what they
getting
were,
ads for
now I'm getting
Squishmallows.
ads for it. And even on YouTube, I'm getting like, oh, suggested videos for Squishmallows. So I started watching it, and this girl's got like hundreds of Squishmallows. I didn't realize they were such a big thing, and now I need them all.
Oh,
But
no.
they're so hard to get. This girl was like, oh yeah, I go to Five Below to get them. You can get them at Walgreens. You can get them at Hot Topic. You can get them at Hallmark. So the other day after work, I went to the mall because the mall has a Hallmark and it has a Hot Topic and a Claire's too. Went to all three of them. They had none. And I was like, okay, well, let me go check out Five Below, see if they have more. None. There's a new Five Below over by Burlington.
Really?
Yeah, next to the dollar store where the CVS used to be.
I didn't know there was a dollar store or a CVS over there, but okay.
Okay, well, there's now. So I was like, oh, let me check that one out. None. Like, where are they? Are they,
In that girl's house.
Like, this girl, she's literally like, oh, yeah, on my days off, I just drive around. She's buying, like, 10 of them a day. And I'm like, these things are expensive. Like, what the fuck does she do? She must make a lot of money making these Squishmallow videos on YouTube. But I'm like, I really want them all now. There's one that looks like a little burrito.
Is there like all the toppings coming out the side?
He looks like a little tortilla with like lettuce and a tomato and beef on the top. He's like a little brown toss on his head. And then like his body is like a holographic foil. And he looks like a little burrito wrapped in tinfoil.
What are you going to do with it?
It's just so cute.
But what are you going to do with it?
What do I do with anything I buy? Just shove it in my house, Lauren.
You would have been excited to come to the flea market on Sunday. We went to the flea market for Mother's Day. We took my mom, my boyfriend's mom, and there was a whole table
Kraemer?
that had there was a Kraemer. Sidetrack. We'll go back to the Kraemer. They had a whole table that were like those mystery things. And I couldn't find anything that I thought like you would like. She's just obsessed with opening these mystery little packages of things. I really don't get it.
It's just exciting.
I get the the serotonin fix of like opening it up and finding out what it is. But at the same time, I have that practical side of me that's kicked in enough that's like, what the fuck am I going to do with 12 mini ice creams?
You know that ball I bought the other day at Target?
Yeah.
It had a mini Cool Whip, a mini thing of cinnamon, A1 steak sauce, and taco seasoning.
I got obsessed with watching that girl on TikTok actually open them. She's just got like hundreds of videos of her opening those mini
Graveyard
things.
Girl?
No, it's not Graveyard Girl.
Oh, that's when I watched. And
It was just some random girl that I came across, but like she puts them into these little organizing cabinets and shelves, and then she makes like jewelry out of them.
Earrings.
Like who the fuck is buying Minnie Breyer's ice cream earrings? Like seriously, don't raise your hand. Put that hand down. Put it down. You're not buying Minnie Breyer's ice cream earrings. Where are they? Where are they, huh? If you're actually buying them?
Well, I was thinking about buying another box, hoping I could get another steak sauce, because I A1 steak sauce earrings? Like, come on!
Alright, that's a little better. But back to the Kraemer. So I'm obsessed with houseplants. And I went to a plant swap in a town a few towns away, maybe 3 weeks ago now, where you just brought some like clippings of your houseplants and you traded them with other houseplants enthusiasts. And it was at this thrift shop, like a consignment shop, thrift shop kind of place where there's like all antique stuff, right? So before everyone got there, I was walking around and I was in like the men's clothes section just looking because, you know, you're just waiting for people to show up. And I saw this beautiful picture frame and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And as I got closer and like it came into focus, my brain just clicked and I was like, holy shit, is that a Costanza? It was the photo of George Costanza like leaning on the couch in his underwear. And I looked at it and I was like, I'm buying this. I'm buying it. And I brought it up to the counter before I left and I looked her in the eyes and I said, I'm going to tell you and convince myself I'm buying this for the frame, but I am not. So now I have like a 5x7 George Costanza in my living room, and every time someone new comes over, it'll be like an hour and they'll just glance over and be like, is that George Costanza?
It is. It is.
So we were at the flea market the other day, and there was like a huge like poster-sized Kraemer, and I was like, I want it. I want to add it, but like it takes up so much real estate.
It was pretty big.
I like the Costanza better than I like the Kraemer, and I don't
But the Kraemer was a painting. Like it wasn't a photo.
Well, yes, the Kraemer in the show, it's a painting versus a photograph.
Yeah.
But I can't bring myself to put like a 24-inch Kraemer on my wall.
You could put it in the bathroom.
I could put it in the bathroom.
The second bathroom where you wouldn't have to look at it all the time, and it could replace that creepy-ass motherfucker that you got in there.
But that's the one I poop in, and I don't want to stare at Kraemer.
But I feel like that's kind of appropriate.
That'd be really weird. Anyway, I'm a big Seinfeld fan, too.
So this is another small thing that last night I was at Mom and Dad's, and we were watching the show Portal to Hell. That's got Jack Osborne and Katrina something or other.
Sure, whatever.
It's
garbage.
It's pretty bad. But, you know, ghosties. When we got nothing else to watch, we put it on.
Mm-hmm.
And they start off, they go to this farmhouse place that these people ended up being like serial killers. And Jack is like narrating as they're passing over, you know, talking about the place. And he starts naming serial killers like John Wayne Gacy and all these other people. And he goes, people who have these as household names are seriously sick and twisted people. And Dad just pauses it, turns to me and goes, he's talking about you. And I was like, excuse me, I'm very offended by that.
I've never seen that show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of ghost shows out there right now, but none of them are good.
Have you seen Ghost Bros?
Yes, I've seen Ghost Bros.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying none of them are good.
Ghost Bros and Jack Osborne teamed up for another show. It's called
Jesus fuck.
It's called The Fright Club, and they just sit in a room looking at like YouTube videos of creepy ghost shit and rating them. Oh my god. Dad hates it.
It's like the Rob Dyrdek show of ghosts.
Exactly. Me and Mom think it's hilarious. Dad hates it.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I remember when, like, Taps was the only one, like, the OG ghost show. They came to my college, like, I met them, and I was like, wow, these guys are, like, really douchey. And then other shows started coming out, and I was like, all right, this is a little better.
But were they better?
Because
at one time, we literally had Taps, Ghost Hunters. If y'all don't know who Taps are, the show's Ghost Hunters. And then there was Ghost Adventurers and Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to talk shit about them all the time. And now they're the top show.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that see anything.
Ghost Hunters is back.
Okay, no, listen, wait. Ghost Hunters is back?
Well, Ghost Hunters is back, yes. But it is with Grant, and he has like a whole new team of people. But then there's Jason and Steve, who are the good ones. They have their own show now that's...
They never find anything, though.
Yes, they do. That's
okay,
Ghost Nation.
The only ghost show I've ever seen is that one with Prozac, okay?
Prozac!
Prozac. They just caught so much good stuff.
Did. But I feel like... But they were there. Prozac would stay at a place for like a month. These Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, it's like 1 or 2 nights. It's not a month. Start
staying longer then.
Because... They can't. It's people's homes they're investigating.
I guess. So, crap, where's my phone? Here it is. So, I got one email. we went live a few days ago. Obviously, we've got some friends and family listening. We have actually one email. You know, we were bitching about the delivery services last episode?
Yeah!
So our cousin wrote in, Danielle, she wrote in, and she said she had a very similar issue with DoorDash. She ordered a pizza, and they kept, like, saying on the app, you know, we're preparing your pizza. You know, you can track your pizza, yeah. You know, the order's been received by the restaurant, we're preparing your order's been picked up. And I kept saying it was preparing her order, and then all of a sudden her doorbell rang, and her food was there. So she said she started eating her food and was like, all right, well, let me see what the app says. And it said, your driver will be there in 5 minutes.
You get 2 pizzas?
So she called the place and was like, are you sure there's not a second order for us? Because I don't want to get charged twice. But she only ended up getting the one delivery. So these places are ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like them.
I don't get it. I guess, you know, it's such a fine line between... Screw these online order delivery places because they're always screwing something up, or my food is cold, or they're not here, or they charge me twice, and my God, I'm too fucking lazy to go out and pick up my own food. I need someone to bring it to me.
So I was talking to Dan about serial killers because I was telling him about the podcast and everything like that, and he reminded me of the girl with the nubs, and asked if we were going to talk about her, and I thought I could give you guys
the nub girl, yeah,
the story of the nub girl. So I heard this story a really long time ago, so, like, don't get mad at me if I get something wrong, or if I remembered something.
Don't fact check us.
Please don't. Like, just, if you really want to know the story, Google it. You know, you can get the true story. This is the
abridged.
This is the Walmart version. So there was this story about this serial killer who would pick up hitchhikers and then kill them. And there was one time this 15-year-old girl was hitchhiking in California, and I want to say this is like the 70s when hitchhiking was like all the rage. And so this guy picked her up, and she was like, oh, are you going this way? Like, this is where I need to be. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm passing through. I'm going and cutting off in a different direction, but I can take you so far. So she gets in the car. It's late at night. She falls asleep. She wakes up and realizes she's in the middle of the desert, and she wasn't supposed to go through the desert to get where she was supposed to be. So she says, like, she has to pee or something like that, or get out of the car. For some reason, they pull the car over. And she gets out of the car, and she's like, I guess she's putting her shoes on or something, where it gave him enough time to go into the trunk and grab an axe or a machete or something like that. And when she turned around, he, like, clonked her over the head and tried to, like, knock her out. And so this girl is fighting back as hard as she can, and she grabbed his shirt and is, like, trying to, like, push him away, pull him. She finally gets knocked out again, and he ends up, like, raping her And then she wakes up and she's fighting back. She's tied up. They're in this whole altercation. And somehow she, like, grabs his shirt again. And this guy takes this axe or whatever he has and chops off her hand. And so she goes falling back and her hand is still, like, gripped to his shirt. So he's trying to pull the hand off. And so she's, like, trying to stand up with the one arm.
That's nub number one.
Nub number one. And so he's swinging at her again and ends up cutting off her other arm.
Nub number two.
And then, I don't know if she hits him in the head again or somehow she passes out from, like, blood loss. But all she remembers is him thinking that she was dead. So he chucked her down, like, the side of the road into, like, a ditch. And she rolls down, passes out. He drives off, tries to kidnap someone else probably. And she wakes back up with both her hands cut off. So she's probably got, like, elbow down.
Two nubs.
And so she realizes, like, she can't just sit there. She's going to die. So she rubs dirt in her wounds to stop them from bleeding and nubs her way up the hill to the road and is trying to flag people down. But people are, like, she's covered in blood, so people are getting scared and not wanting to stop. She said one car flew past her and then stopped and ended up backing up, and the couple in the car said that the guy didn't want to stop because he thought it was weird that she was covered in blood, but then the girl that was with him was like, no, her arms are cut off, stop, she needs help. And so they ended up bringing her to the hospital, and she survived this whole ordeal, which is
with two nubs.
Mind-boggling.
Two nubs.
And she told him all the information about this guy that kidnapped her and attacked her and almost killed her. And the police, went out searching for him. They pull him over. They find him. They ask him to open his trunk, and he's got another dead body in the trunk. So it could have been there while she was in the car. It could have been someone after.
Didn't he, like, go to prison and then, like, get out?
Oh, yeah. He ended up going to prison, and he was let out, I want to say, like, 2005 or something like that, and then killed someone else.
Yeah.
Immediately killed someone else.
Ridiculous.
And I don't know if he's dead now or back in jail, I don't know. But yeah, he was let out. Okay, first of all, if you're killing people, multiple people, you should not be let out of prison.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
The only time if you kill someone and let out of prison, if it was accidental or some kind of mental health issue that caused you to do it. But if you're out there killing multiple people, you probably shouldn't be let out of jail.
While you're telling a true crime thing, I guess I will circle back on what we discussed about last week.
Oh, yes.
In our Feets and Shoe episode. About
feet and shoes.
Feets and Shoe.
You put feets and shoe?
Yes, because I wrote down feets and shoe, singular. That is what I wrote on my paper. That is what I titled the episode. Feets and Shoe. So we were talking about how there were random shoes inside of random feet inside of running shoes that have been washing up on shore out in the West Coast for years. And Lissa said she couldn't find too much information, so
I also didn't go too far into it.
Well, I did.
I didn't spiral, because I knew if I spiraled, it wouldn't end.
I spiraled a little bit. So I wanted to get a little more information because it just seemed too weird to me that the police would just say, it's an accident, and, like, just kind of brush it off. If you hear crinkling, my dog is insisting on playing with a toy under the table, so I apologize. So they're called the Salish Sea feet, and the feet have been washing up between Jedediah Island in British Columbia and Canada, all the way down to Tacoma, Washington, since 2007. Mm-hmm. So the first shoe and foot actually was found in a pile of shoes. Only one foot was actually found, so there were multiple shoes that washed up, which is really bizarre, on August 20th. And the authorities kind of assumed that it had something to do with a plane crash that happened in 2005. There was the Quadra Island plane crash. There was a family in a small plane that crashed and everyone died. And they just kind of said, well, that's probably where the feet came from, because they died. Until they found that the foot was female and everyone on the plane was male. So
Yeah.
while it's possible that foot may or may not be related to this plane crash, it was not related to this plane crash. So the first two feet were found in August of 2007. The third one was found in 2008, in February. And the fourth and fifth feet were also found in 2008, May and June, and then sporadically thereafter. There was some conjecture that the ones that were found later in the process may have been related to the tsunami in 2011 in Japan. There was a lot of debris that was actually washing up on shore on the west coast from the Japan tsunami, so it's not unthinkable that corpses could have broken apart and reached the west coast shore as well, but nothing was really confirmed. There are a lot of conflicting articles out there about the actual size of the shoes, the brands of the shoes, and actually the number of feet that were found, which is kind of beyond me because, like, it's a solid thing. You either have found 21 feet or you have not found 21 feet.
That's why when I was doing my research, it said anywhere between 13 to 20 feet.
Yeah. I've got it here 14 to 21 feet.
They're not quite sure.
They're not quite sure. But it is a little more logical when you have some of the information about what they actually found. So some of these feet are from identified things that happened. So in some of these cases, 10 of the 14 to 21 feet have been identified. So one was a man that was known to be very depressed, so they're assuming that one was a suicide. 2 feet actually came from the same person. It came from a woman who jumped off a British Columbia bridge in 2004. So those were from a confirmed suicide. And then 1 foot belonged to a fisherman, so they kind of assumed it was kind of an at-sea accident. Stuff happens, there's storms, people fall overboard. The last shoe actually was found in 2018, so there hasn't been anything new since then.
Okay.
Which is a little weird. But, if it's our theory that there's actually someone out there killing people and throwing them off cliffs and stuff, maybe he got old, maybe he died, maybe he moved. Maybe he moved on and we'll find feet somewhere else.
Maybe he realized, oh shit, these feet are my feet. Let me stop throwing them off this cliff.
The one interesting thing I did find that the third foot that was found in February of 2008 actually belonged to a woman who was... A warrant had just been put out for her arrest by authorities. The day she disappeared, she just vanished because she allegedly stole $20 million from investors in whatever job she was doing.
Ooh,
so
she got killed by the mob.
So either she was killed by the mob or was so afraid maybe she took her own life.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's
if
possible.
you just took $20 million, you could hide with that money. You ain't killing yourself.
Yeah, but what if you had to pay that back? What if you've already spent it and suddenly if you get caught, you have to pay it back? Like, you can't do that. Who's paying back $20 million? Especially if you had to steal it in the first place.
There's some lady who had like over $1 million deposited in her bank account and she went out and bought like a Jaguar, a house, like all these fucking things. And they're like, no, you need to give the money back. And she's like, no, it was put in my account. You made the mistake. It's your fault.
Yeah, it doesn't always fly though. That doesn't always fly.
But I mean, banks are insured. Give her the money.
Let's see. The one thing that I did find that was interesting on here was that people are doing shoe hoaxes. People are actually like taking tennis shoes, putting animal bones in them, and like planting them on the shore or throwing them out to sea, hoping people, like the authorities, will find it and be like, "Oh, we got another foot." But like,
you don't.
Like the pathologists aren't going to look at that and be like, "No,
that's a chicken foot.
It's definitely a deer." So there's just a little more background information on the crazy feet that have been showing up on the West Coast since 2000. Was it 2007?
That makes me feel a little bit better, but that only accounts for what, maybe 7 of the feet,
half of
10?
the feet.
Yeah, what The other ones, you can't just call it an accident if you
That's
don't have the
true.
rest of the body.
I agree, but I can understand where they're coming from a little more, that like, well, all of these
Well, I
have been
wonder-
accidents
I
or
wonder-
suicides.
I wonder if there's any way to determine the race of the feet. And be like, maybe
Oh, of
if they
course.
are of some kind of Japanese descent, maybe they could just... It would be
possible.
more logical to group it.
I don't know if they've done any testing on the unidentified feet, though.
I mean, not that everyone in Japan has to be Japanese, but
Also true.
maybe it would be a little more logical to do something like that. Because then if you fit, like, oh no, it's some guy from the Middle East, like, maybe do a little more research or something. I
Yeah.
mean, he could be from Japan, he could not be from Japan.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't see
And
any
the other way
stories
around,
about research
there could
on
be
that.
a Japanese man that was murdered in Washington, you know?
True. Okay, what else we got for me?
Okay, so, one thing that kind of, maybe they're kind of related, maybe not, but do you ever, like, drive, you're driving down the street, wherever you're going to from work, well, you don't really drive to from work anymore,
Whatever.
but, and then suddenly, like, out of nowhere, get, like a hyper realization that you exist,
No.
and then you're like, holy shit, what am I? Like, I'm controlling a car, living on this planet, like, I got things inside me that work for some odd, and, like, I
get the overwhelming concern that I can't believe I'm in control of this robot vehicle and everyone else is trusted to also control these robot vehicles and we all coexist on the road and don't die.
Yeah, mine goes farther than that. To that we're coexisting on the same planet in the universe, and what if our 80 to 100 years of life is really like a millisecond to someone else, and that it just goes on and on and on, and I freak out for a moment, and then I'm like, oh, that's a red light, I should stop.
No, but I'll be driving and be like, I either don't know where I'm going or don't know how I got here.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
Where, like, I just leave somewhere and suddenly I'm in the driveway and I'm just suddenly in the driveway. Like, did I turn my car on? How did I get here?
Yeah. I've talked to you about this before, but I feel like I switched dimensions.
Yes, you tell me that quite often this year.
Like, it's strong lately, because I told you how, like, I have a nose ring on the right side of my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I go to adjust it on the other side, or my lip ring, I go to adjust it on the wrong side. Lately, I've been driving places, like, I go to your house, or Mom's house, or to Target, and, like, I stop certain places at, like, red lights or stop signs, and I look around, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. Like, there's something missing.
That happens to me a lot, but it's usually because they've cut down a tree.
And that's what I thought. Like, I had stopped by somewhere over in Ridgefield with Dan when we were doing an order, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. I'm like, did they take a tree down, or is there, like, a new building? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. It's usually something.
And he's like, no, nothing has changed. Like, he drives over there all the time. He used to work down there. He would drive by it every day. He's like, nothing has changed. And then I was driving past Walmart the other day, and I know, like, the Chipotle and stuff is new.
Yeah.
But I'm driving down going, I feel like there's a business that I always pass by that I don't see anymore. Like, just weird, little tiny things that just don't feel right.
Like, you think buildings are disappearing?
Yeah. Also, remembering things that don't exist, like the Mandela effects, like Fruit Loops and Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
How
that
last
one's a
year
little
it was
weird.
the whole thing of, oh, everyone remembers it F-R-O-O-T, Fruit Loops. And they're like, no, it's spelled fruit like F-R-U-I-T. And, like, now it's F-R-O-O-T.
It was always F-R-O-O-T.
That's what it was. And then last year, this whole debate came out over the summer, and people were like, no, it's spelled like regular fruit, not O-O. And it's now O-O again.
That's weird. That's weird.
And then that Britney Spears CD.
What
I
Britney
told you
Spears
about that.
CD?
I clearly
Oh,
remember
yeah.
there being a Britney Spears CD with a butterfly on it, like a blue butterfly on it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not. Like, she's got a newer CD that's got a blue butterfly, but it's not the right one. And then she's got an older CD that's got, like, a blue flower on it. That's not right. Like, I don't know if my brain's mixing the two, or if in my dimension, Britney has a different album.
I don't think so.
I also, multiple times these past couple weeks, I've gotten into my car and reached on the wrong side to pull the seatbelt over.
That I do.
And I'm like, I understand, like, if I were in another car, like, so I was a passenger of another car, yes, I'd be pulling the seatbelt over. But, like, I'm starting the car and reaching for the seatbelt on the wrong side.
I've done that many times. I think it's because I also am the passenger often now. But you're not.
And then another... So the other thing I noticed at work the other day is that one of my coworkers was looking at me and she goes, your eyes look green. And I'm like, what? So I took a little handheld mirror and I was like, turned towards the light so the light was hitting my eyes so I could really see it. My eyes are different colors than they used to be.
That's not supposed to happen.
Like, your eyes are brown.
Yeah.
My eyes have always been brown.
Yeah.
But I was looking at them yesterday going, they look hazel. Like, there's so much green in them, and they are, like, a light brown, and they...
Can I change color? Can I color change?
I don't know. And I'm looking at my eyes going, like, those are not my eyes. And I was momentarily freaking out at work. She's like, yeah, your eyes are green in them. And I'm like, have they always looked like this? Someone give me a picture. And I'm, like, trying to, like... take my phone and take, like, a real close picture, like, taking the flashlight and looking in the mirror, and, like, my eyes are turning hazel.
You know what also happened? I looked in the mirror, and I look old.
Oh, damn, bitch. Now I just noticed.
You ever do that where you look... No, you ever do that where you just look in the mirror, and, like, suddenly you just look so much older than the last time you really took a good look at yourself in the mirror? No, you haven't hit 30 yet. You'll get there.
No, because I still look like I'm 12 years old.
So did I, until you looked in the mirror and you're like, eh.
It's the hair.
It's not the hair.
It's the ugly-looking hair.
My hair's not ugly.
The color is.
Maybe you should do something about it.
We were supposed to do that last week and we didn't.
We didn't.
Okay.
It's not ugly.
It's pretty bad.
It's not ugly.
It's pretty bad.
I'll post a picture to our Instagram. It's not ugly.
The color is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty fried and bleached.
It's pretty bad. We need to do something about it.
I wanted to mention, did you see that TikTok I sent earlier to the family group?
No, I didn't look at that.
So there's this kid that does a lot of ADHD videos, and he does them back and forth with himself, like that kind of thing. Him. Anyway, so he's sitting there, and you know, someone asks him, quote unquote, how was school? And he goes, no thanks, I'm not cold. No, I said, how was school? No, I ate already, it's cool. And I was like,
Mom?
What? Wait, does Mom have ADHD? Apparently there's like some sort of auditory processing disorder that goes along with it, where people will answer the wrong question because they're not processing it correctly. And I was like, holy shit! My mother has done this her whole life. Like, we're like, Mom, what's for dinner? And she goes, no, I'm fine. We're like, what? Did you fucking hear what I said?
And
Sorry,
we'll ask her again, what's for dinner? 7:30? What? No, what's for dinner?
So I think that Mom has ADHD.
Oh, 100%, bitch.
And that's what's been causing that, not just because she's, you know, Mom.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's why her eye does the...
No, it's not. It's a whole other story. There's also this thing with ADHD where things have a place that they belong, but sometimes when something doesn't have a place that it belongs, it just belongs where it is. And let me explain. So I told her a couple weeks ago that I had a very good example of this where I gave my dog a bath for the first time this spring, and it warmed up outside, so I gave him a bath and let him run around outside, and I wanted to brush him. So I said to myself, where's the dog brush? Let me go get that and brush him. So I went back in my house, out the front door, onto my front porch, and picked up the dog brush out of the driveway where it had spent all winter. Because that's just where it lived.
Yeah.
I knew that's where it lived. I knew exactly where to find it if I needed it, and decided just to never pick it up and brush the dog. And she laughed at me, and she goes, yeah, that's totally what happens. So I had another instance of this. We got my mother a propane fire pit for the deck for Mother's Day. And I got it from Amazon, and it came in a box, and I had to assemble it. So I'm out on the deck. I've got all my pieces laid out, and I was like, oh, this isn't one where I just use an Allen wrench. I actually need a Phillips head screwdriver. So I went into my toolbox, went to go get the Phillips head screwdriver, and I was like, oh, it's not there. I know where it is. So I walked out the house, off the front porch, went into my car, into my trunk, just like under a blanket somewhere, and grabbed my Phillips head screwdriver. Went back out to the deck and assembled it, because that's the last place I used the screwdriver, and that's where the screwdriver belonged, and I knew where it was, and it wasn't important to put it back in the toolbox where it lives, because it was currently living exactly where I knew it was.
Yeah. So I saw TikTok.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That was talking about how schools didn't teach us correctly.
Are we talking about the blood?
Well, that is one of them.
Okay.
So I Googled.
We talking about Hank Green? Is Hank Green teaching you things?
Hank Green. I ordered Hank Green's book. Okay, so Hank Green has this book that he wrote. It's like a novel type of fantasy thing, whatever. And when he said it on his TikTok that he had a book, it sold out immediately. And you cannot buy... It's like being sold for like $50 on Amazon now. And people are selling it on like eBay for like $100 because everyone wants this freaking book. To the point where like...
Hank Green.
To the point where, like, he's like, it's sold out so far where it's only pre-order now and it's not going to be selling until the end of summer. So I was, like, curious. I was like, maybe I can order it off Amazon used. So I Googled Hank Green's book used. And I'm getting a acceptable version of his hardcover book that says there may be stains, water damage, notes.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Highlighted sections. You know, it could be anything in it, but it's an acceptable version.
It's a readable version.
For $6. Huh. So I'm like, alright, $6. It looks like shit, it's $6.
That man has done so much. Anyway, you were saying.
He owns like 17 million companies.
And he sings, apparently, and has
Hank
books,
Green
and is
amazing.
He's literally the new Bill Nye the Science Guy.
He's better.
And I swear to God, if he doesn't get some sort of...
He's better.
YouTube show or something...
He has a show.
What do you mean he has a show?
He's produced like a science show.
Where can I watch this?
I don't know what it's called. Look up Hank Green.
I'm going to look up Hank Green's science show because I want to watch Hank Green teach me more science.
Well, I don't think it's actually him. I just think it's like a science show that he's produced.
No, I want Hank Green to teach me more science. Just like I still enjoy watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, the new one. And it's great.
Okay. So things that teachers didn't teach us correctly.
Yes.
How do you get tetanus?
Rusty nails?
No. It has nothing to do with rust and metal. It is just dirt that gets in your bloodstream that has a certain type of bacteria that causes a tetanus infection.
So if I stub my toe on the door frame, I can still get tetanus?
Uh-huh.
So why don't I get a tetanus shot when that happens?
Who the fuck knows? Because we've been taught incorrectly our whole lives.
So why don't doctors give you a tetanus shot when you come in with any sort of wound?
I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I'm looking that one up.
I looked it up!
Okay.
You cannot see the Great Wall of China from space.
What?
Astronauts in the space station have said, nah, you can't see it. It just kind of blends in with everything. If you had a telescope, you'd be able to see it.
We're going to take a step back to tetanus. The reason why they give you shots when you have a rusty wound, like a nail wound or a knife wound or something like that, is because they're deeper and you have a likelier chance to get tetanus if the wound is deep and not a scratch.
But it has nothing to do with the rusty metal.
No, it doesn't.
It just is the deepness of the wound.
It's the depth of the puncture.
Okay.
So I'm assuming if I was impaled by a cactus or something, or I don't know, something else sharp, they would also give me a tetanus shot. Continue.
Yes. Water doesn't actually drain in reverse in the southern hemisphere.
What? What do you mean?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, so you know it's true, has proven it and has said that toilet bowls are just designed to push the water in the opposite direction.
That's just their version of a toilet bowl?
Yeah.
That is fucked up.
Right?
I mean, partially still true, because it does go the other way, but it's not due to the Earth's rotation.
But like if you just poured water in it, it would just the same way.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, next thing. This one fucked me up. Chameleons don't camouflage.
What do you mean they don't camouflage?
They don't camouflage. They don't change color depending upon their surroundings. They change color depending on temperature, the amount of stress they're in, and for mating purposes.
So how do they blend in with things?
They don't, Lauren. They're green. They sit on a leaf.
Wow. Octopus are really good camouflagers, though.
They do, yes.
They're insanely good.
Your tongue
Yeah.
doesn't detect different tastes in different spots. It's all the same.
There's no, like, sweet on the
There's no
top.
sweet, sour, nut. It's all the same.
But they taught us that.
No, the tongue map is lies. I wrote
Lies.
Diamonds don't come from coal.
What? It's carbon. It's compressed carbon.
Yes.
Which coal is carbon.
But that you can't get a diamond from compressing coal.
No, and you also can't get a diamond from heating up a piece of charcoal and sticking it in a goddamn jar of peanut butter, you internet people.
Yeah, okay. They come from a variety of different places, including asteroid impact zones.
Huh.
Which makes me think alien diamonds.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
And now I feel like there needs to be a certain type of diamond that is specifically from asteroid impact zones that can be marked as alien diamonds. Higher
so
markup.
like fair trade stuff.
Right.
And, conflict-free diamonds, and others alien area diamonds.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My God.
Humans don't just use 10% of the brain. They used 100% of the brain.
I think you mentioned
Just
that a
not
couple
all the
episodes,
time.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip over that one and then go to. So blood isn't actually blue inside the body like we were taught. And like it comes in with oxygen and then it turns red. It's just the depth that light can get through our skin. That blue is the only color that can reflect back.
So our veins are actually red.
Yes. So if you cut all that skin away down just to the vein, it would be red. So if I cut layer by layer, it would start to see how some of...
Wait. Have you ever seen the bodies exhibit?
Yes.
So why are some of them red and some of them blue?
They're probably stained that way to show you veins and arteries.
All right, it's a good answer. Keep going.
So you know how like I have these that are blue and then some of them are purple? It's because these are actually closer to the skin where more light is being reflected back.
That makes sense. I believe that.
So that makes sense. If they taught me that, that would make more sense than it's blue inside the body and red outside the body. Like, what the fuck? Okay.
That's bullshit. I call bullshit.
So, this last one. Do you know the real story behind Thanksgiving?
The fake, like, we have a turkey and we're all happy around the table, or like the murdering all the Native Americans?
Yeah, it wasn't, let's bring everyone together and say what we're thankful for. It's, we just got back from a massive slaughtering of Indians, and now we're gonna eat. Because we also killed this turkey.
Yeah, we're special.
Like, what? Where do you go? Oh, children, in your kindergarten class, we're going to teach you about how the Indians and the Pilgrims got together so well that they had dinner. But, like, no, they slaughtered them.
It is weird that that's what we teach children. Like, you don't even have to teach them the history of it. Just tell them we come together for Thanksgiving to be thankful and make a freaking hand turkey.
Like, yeah.
You don't have to give them the history. You don't have to tell them about Indians. You don't have to tell them about anything.
Yeah.
She just, like, closed her notebook and placed it on the table.
And there were so many other things that teachers didn't teach. There's actually a book, as I was researching this, there's a whole book of, I think it's called Things My History Textbooks Lied to Me About, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a whole book. There's different versions of it, because apparently we're still telling lies to children in school.
It's insane. It really is.
The first one came out on, like, 1995, and then, like, 2008, and then, like,
updated versions?
2017, I think, was the latest one, yeah. because they're updated with new things that we're still lying to children about.
Another thing they actually lie to you, and I don't know if they intentionally do it, it's just the easiest way to make a map, is that the maps that we're used to seeing in our history classes or geography classes are not to scale.
Yeah, no.
So if you are familiar with a map where the United States is a similar size as South America, and Africa and Australia, America, and Australia is this tiny little island, and go online and search for a to scale map of the world, because it is crazy to see.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's hard to find a good one, but there's actually a website you can go to, and I don't remember what it's called, where you can type in the names of two countries or continents or whatever you want to compare and like drag them on top of one another to actually see. So like Australia is like bigger than the United States, and South America is smaller than Australia. I don't know what it is, but like it's crazy. You can lay these countries and continents, whatever you want, on top of one another to see the actual scale size, and it will blow your mind. It really will blow your mind, because it's not what you'd expect. It's really not. That's not even it. That's not even it.
It says
that
true
is
scale.
Not it. That's not it. That's the map you see. Keep scrolling, you'll find it. But
that's the map.
I will show you after we're done. That is not correct. I will show you.
It's not. It's not. It's the map. It's a map. It's a map. Okay.
So anyway, look up the map of the actual to scale map of the world, and your mind will be blown.
True size of. Okay.
There you go. Is it true size of?
TheTrueSize.com.
There you go. So you're gonna play with that for a minute. I think that's it for another episode. Go home, make a hand turkey, trace your hand, and color that shit in, because it was fun as a kid, and it's probably still fun as an adult. Okay?
Follow us on Instagram at FavoriteDaughtersPod.
And if you have any questions, comments, or stories, please reach out to us at favoritedaughtersPodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your funny stories, ghost stories, and anything else interesting you may like us to read on the podcast.